Hello, hi everybody.
Hello.
Hi. My name is Vaibhav More. I'm a small-time filmmaker. I love animation. I'm a fine art graduate. And this is going to be the fastest presentation ever because we are running short of time. So I'll try and entertain you at the same time, but value thoda kam rahega. How many of you understand English, Hindi, Marathi? Okay, I'll start in Tamil now. So, anyways, wow, what a joke. Okay, are we ready? Okay. Can we share the screen? So first of all, thank you, Animation Express, for inviting us. Congratulations for the entire team of Animation Express for conducting this event. You know, after such a long time, it is a pleasure to be on a stage in front of a physical audience. And I'm very, very excited to present our small, humble showreel to you. And I hope the sole purpose of coming here is to just meet new faces. And if we could inspire maybe 2 of you or 3 of you to join us, that will be a great achievement for us. So we'll start with our presentation. So let me introduce my teammates, Rohan Balerao and Praveen. They are my key team members. We are a very small team. So that's our company logo. It started with a joke of sketching myself. This is how I used to look before the pandemic, and this is how I look right now. So it has affected all of us. So anyways, so can we go to the next slide? So Vaibhav More Films was formed in 2009. I'm a fine art graduate. I worked with channels and brands like MTV, Channel V, Star, you know, lots of other brands, Nickelodeon, Disney, Pogo. So we worked for everybody. And then there was a need and time for me to get away and figure out what kind of work I want to do. And I could select the kind of work and the style that I wanted to explore. So that's where the need for starting my own studio came up. And so who we are, okay. So we are a small studio based in Navi Mumbai, Kharghar. We own a small studio. We are a bunch of creative people. 3 of us are here, and we have a bunch of freelancers who work for us. And we love to create short format content, which includes channel promos. I think there is some technical glitch. Okay, there's no glitch, right? उधर कुछ हो रहा है क्या भाई? नहीं ना? There's something happening over here. Can somebody just check it? So anyways, so we are a small studio who create small content, ad films primarily. And we started as an animation studio because I'm myself a self-taught animator. And so we started creating small spots, initially in 2D animation, then slowly graduated to 3D animation. And then as we progressed, you know, as we got new team members, there was a need in advertising to create little small VFX shots here and there. And so we found that area very interesting to explore. And our studio is all about exploring. So that's when we said, okay, let's go ahead and let's try out a couple of VFX films in advertising. Advertising is like a quick affair where you can get into a project, you know, you work against a deadline for 10, 15, 20 days, and then you're on to a next project with the next creative challenge. So that's what we primarily do. Okay, so let's play our reel. This is our show reel. Can we have the lights off? Yeah.
Praveen, it's mute.
एक मिनट pause कर. Volume. ये ना डेस्क हिल रहा है ना तो ये हो रहा है. गैस खिल रहा है ना तो ज़्यादा ये हो रहा है. ते ना प्रवीण हलू देऊ नको. Sorry, there's some technical glitch. So I think we are shifting the content to a different computer. So we have 5 minutes to entertain you. So, yeah, kindly let me know once it's copied. So how many of you are actually interested in doing animation, like character animation? How many of you actually want to explore in different mediums of animation? Okay. So myself, I'll just share my experience. Like I started as a 2D animator in 1999, where we were working without computers. We were doing some traditional animation projects for UTV Toons, which was part of a Ronnie Screwvala initiative. And eventually graduated into 2D and 3D animation, and then Flash came along. Flash, which we call is that Adobe Animate. And so I would just like to advise all the newcomers or the people who are just venturing into animation, do not restrict yourself by saying that I just want to do this kind of work, I don't want to do this kind of animation. Be very open as a beginner to adopt any style, to work in any format, to work in any software. You never know what you're good at. Sometimes you like to do something, but maybe you're good at something else. So it's all about these exploring years where you actually figure out what you are really good at. And I think that's what the basic industry requirement is. You know, there's a lot of gap between the industry. Huh? We're ready? Okay. So let's play our showreel. Lights off, please. So that's the kind of work that we do. Primarily, we love to explore in different styles of animation. We have now ventured into VFX. We are going to talk more about VFX in advertising for this session, because there's a huge demand, like you just saw the outside presentation, there's a huge demand for artists in VFX area, and we have talent, but we don't have the right guidance, you know. So that's what we're going to roughly tell you about how VFX in advertising works. Abhi apne ek presentation dekha jisme Kingsman mein there are hundreds of people working in different departments trying to fix like every small thing. Unfortunately, advertising is if anybody's worked in advertising, you know there's a basic saying, deadline is always yesterday, you know, and there are like 10 department heads from advertising who have zero creative knowledge, but they think they have all the creativity in the world, and they all want their inputs to be embedded in one small 30-seconder. So it's a very difficult tightrope walk and against the timeline. So we prefer to work as generalist and as a problem solver. So that is where VFX is in advertising is slightly different from the main line, the main pipeline, Hollywood or Bollywood VFX. We don't have too many departments. We don't have that much time. And of course, we don't have that much budget. But anyway, so what we'll do is we'll just play first our animation reel. You know, it's more of showing right now, so I'll just show. Let's play our animation reel. So this is purely character animation reel.
Kellogg's Chocospills. Chocolatey inside, crunchy outside. Hungry for chocolatey?
Yeah, so that's about our animation showreel. These are few styles that we had explored in last few years. And so now the recent thing, we are doing a lot of VFX for advertising. So I'll play some of our VFX work. We have enough time. So next slide. Okay. Lights off, please. So I hope it gives you a general idea of the kind of VFX that we do. I'll just briefly tell you about the breakdown. I don't want to get too much into details, but for those who really don't know about basic VFX, these slides are for them. So what is a VFX pipeline? There's a huge pipeline that goes into Hollywood filmmaking. This is the basic that we follow. Once we get a footage, which is shot, first thing we do is we get into match moving. Match moving is where we match the camera, the live action camera, to a 3D camera. So that's process is called match moving. It's something like this. So there are a lot of track points. There are different softwares where you can do the match moving and create a 3D camera. So this is the basic match moving. Next slide, please. So, and there's something called rotoscopy. Once you get a footage, you want to separate the main characters from the background, so then you can color tweak them, you can add different things to them. So this is a very manual process called rotoscopy, where you have to go in frame by frame and kind of trace out an entire character frame by frame and separate it from the background, which gives more liberty for the compositors. Okay, so this is how it's done. Mostly, we outsource rotoscopy to freelancers. Like we said, we are a small studio. We can't hire everybody all the time, full time. So this job is always outsourced. Next slide, please. This is called cleanup. So everybody knows wire removal and all those things. So this is how we do. And then skin enhancement, which is in advertising is the key thing. Everybody wants to look good in their advertisement, especially all these stars. So yeah, so this is basic wire removal. This is also done by a specialized team, and we kind of supervise these shots. and every advertisement, every director has got a separate demand. So there's a lot of different type of cleanup. So I don't want to get into detail, but it's basically cleaning up your footage, removing all the unnecessary stuff. Next slide, please. Very important thing is set extensions, which is used in Hollywood movies, Bollywood, everywhere, because in production you don't have so much time to build an entire palace or an entire bridge. So you build a certain section and then you kind of digitally extend it. So it's in huge demand because it saves a lot of production time and money for the production companies and advertising companies. So this is an area which is, which you have to be creatively, you have to have good creative sense, at the same time, a good technical knowledge. So these are few examples how we enhance the background and make it look good. So, when you're shooting on a location, you don't have control on so many things. So we have a team which kind of does that. Rohan is one of the key person who supervises most of these shots. Can we go on to the next slide, please? Yeah, and sometimes we have very different creative challenges. Yeah, so this is few ad films that I'm going to play. We have 5 minutes and 45 seconds. So I'm going to play few advertisements.
ये देखिए, अपने ही घर में फुदक फुदक करके शॉर्टकट लेना पड़ रहा है इनको। हाँ, नया घर बनवाते वक्त ही डॉक्टर फिक्स इट टोटल वाटर प्रूफिंग करवाए, वरना बाद में वाटर चिल्लाए। डॉक्टर फिक्स इट वाटर प्रूफिंग गाइड के लिए एसएमएस करें, यहाँ आपका मन चाहे कर दीजिए। ये है शर्मा जी। शर्मा जी बाहर आ जाइए, सब अपने ही लोग हैं। हाँ, देखा वो हुआ यूं कि नया घर बनवाते वक्त इन्होंने लिया 60 कट और वाटर प्रूफिंग छोड़ दी दूसरों पर। नया घर बनवाते वक्त ही डॉक्टर फिक्स इट टोटल वाटर प्रूफिंग करवाए, वरना बाद में शर्मा जी जैसे शर्माए। डॉक्टर फिक्स इट वाटर प्रूफिंग गाइड के लिए एसएमएस करें, यहाँ आपका मन चाहे कर दीजिए।
अच्छा लगा तो तालियां बजाओ भाइयों।
टूट रहा है।
सर जी टैंक को छोड़ो, मेरी तो कमर ही टूट गई। सही पहचाना, ये एक ही अप्रोच का वाटर टैंक है। एक्स्ट्रा लेयर्स, एक्स्ट्रा ट्रिप्स और स्टेबलाइज वाला वाटर टैंक ताकि रहे हर प्रेशर से
This is a small making. So I'll skip this. I'll get on to the next film and then we'll take a Q&A.
ये देखो।
पर नो सर, नो क्रैक, नो लीकेज. APL Apollo pipes never cracks under pressure. दीवार भी सेफ और हेल्थ भी सेफ.
ये देखो.
बुलडोजर पे पड़े, जहाँ पानी जमेगा वहाँ हम जमाओगे. लगता है तो पानी ठंडा हो या गर्म, इस पर नो सर. No crack, no leakage. APL Apollo pipes never cracks under pressure. दीवार भी सेफ और.
Okay. So, yeah, we have few more films, but I think we're running short of time, so I don't want to delay so much. Couple of things me and my teammates, we want to promote here, which is what even Biren Ghosh mentioned in the earlier discussion, is that we are a small studio, and we want to do good creative work. We don't get big budgets as such, but we don't want to compromise on the quality. And we can't afford bigger teams. So what is the solution? One of the solution is to start working on open source softwares. How many of you know open source? How many of you have pirated softwares? Okay, very proudly everybody is doing this. Okay, very good, very good. Anyways, so that's not a question. The thing is, in our studio, we work in open source softwares. Open source softwares are free softwares. You can download them, use them for commercial purposes, use them for teaching purposes, and you can manipulate the source codes to customize your softwares. So we don't use any other 3D software, but we use Blender. So instead of Photoshop, we try to use Krita, and so on. So the sole purpose is to encourage the new generation to try and get into an open source culture, and try and avoid a little bit of piracy here and there, which is very good culture for our industry. So this is where I'll stop my presentation. I want to thank once again Anil Vanwari ji for giving us time. I want to thank all the other people present here, and hope you all stay in good health. And we are ready for Q&A. Maybe 2 questions, sir. Yeah. So 2 सवाल हम ले सकते हैं, quickly answer करेंगे, and I think my team would like to answer those. So Rohan, please. There's always one person asking question here. But anyways, you're very enthused, please ask.
It's it's really rocking to see your showreel, sir.
थोड़ा दूर से. आराम से.
थँक्यू सो मच. तुमचं काम बघून खूप मजा आली, खूप पॉझिटिव्ह एनर्जी मिळाली. मला असं विचारायचं की ह्याचं स्टोरी बोर्ड तुम्ही एक्सप्लेन कराल का थोडक्यात?
स्टोरी बोर्ड
सांगाल का? कसं तुमचं फॉर्म झालं, कसं तुम्ही कॅरेक्टर सेट केलं, कसा कॅमेरा पॅन केला जातो या स्टोरी बोर्डच्या कॅटेगरीमध्ये, की जो ॲक्च्युअल व्हिज्युअल्सवर सुंदर दिसेल एव्ही फायनली. हाऊ यू सीट अँड प्लॅन?
अच्छा, how I plan my general projects. See, generally in advertising, you get a decent amount of brief from the agency, and they're pretty much clear about what they want. In the beginning, they're very clear. Later on, they keep changing. That's all advertising is. I always say advertising is not about doing things. Advertising is about redoing things. And I think art is also like that. You can't be perfect in one go. Yeah? You can't have you just do something in one take and it can't be better than that. So the key here is to keep doing things again and again and again and again. It's just like being a best batsman, So you practice, the more you practice, the more easier it becomes for you. It becomes a second nature. So anybody wants to become a storyboard artist or animator or any other this thing, and you're saying, okay, software seekh liya to sab kuch ho gaya. No, you got to keep practicing. So we watch movies. Rohan, my teammate, he's like a movie buff. So he keeps giving me a lot of ideas. I think you can take over and say how we actually go about.
Yeah,
quickly.
Actually our pipeline is unlike any other big studios. We don't want to constrain our work because of the pipeline. So since we in-house we are like 3 to 4 people working, rest of it is outsourced. So we the pipeline thing you saw, it is actually even simpler than that in some jobs. So that's how I think we work.
And creative juices keep flowing as you keep working. And trust me, it's not an easy ride. थोड़ा मुश्किल होता है, हर रोज अपने आप को थोड़ा सा पुश करना पड़ता है क्रिएटिव काम करने के लिए. So I keep reminding myself, why am I doing this? Why I have formed this company? Why am I struggling every day? So, but that is what life is all about, right? Anybody else, like one question from, yeah, women power, yeah. कोई लड़कियों से सवाल पूछो.
Hello, sir.
जय महाराष्ट्र. हाँ जी बोलिए.
So I wanted to ask that you told us that you outsource. So what exactly you look for the candidate whichever you're trying to outsource, and from where you take the candidates basically for outsourcing, because there are many things going on in the project at the time. So how do you pick at the particular candidate whichever you want?
So very simple thing. We try and keep the creative work in-house, and we outsource all the manual labor work. So kind of rotoscopy is something where you don't have to use too much of your brains, but more of your, skills. So that we outsource. We keep looking for young talent who want to, work with us, and we pay them fairly good. But we want somebody who has got commitments, somebody who can commit to a work. अभी के जनरेशन का प्रॉब्लम वही है कि काम 5 मिनट करेंगे, 10 मिनट तक तो व्हाट्सएप करेंगे, ऐसा है. सो वी लुक फॉर पीपल हु आर रियली हार्ड वर्किंग. My friend over here, Prashant Shane, is I learned so many things from him. And he taught me like half of the things that I know right now. So we keep finding people with whom we can work and we can learn from them. So criteria kuch nahi hai. If you show your showreel, we can see where we can accommodate you in our next freelance. And I'm always open to work with new talent. That's what.
Is there any way we can apply or
apply? Just next slide, please. You can just write us an email on webermorefilms
Okay, sir.
@gmail.com, and I would love to reply you. Send your work. Don't write like a big resume, Photoshop 20%, After Effects 50%. Don't do that. I don't know how you guys calculate that.
Right.
Because I still don't know how much I know in terms of percentage.
Right.
But still, just send your reel. Just send your 2 minutes of your best work, and you write a paragraph about what you want to do if you want to work with us. And
Okay,
we
sir.
always welcome new talent.
Thank you so much, sir.
Yeah. Thank you so much once again, and wish you all the best. Ek last. I hope I inspired few people over here. कोई इंस्पायर हुआ कि नहीं? सो रहे सब लोग. आजा. लंच के लिए रुके.
जे स्कूलचे मुंबईचे भव्य शिल्पकार, जे स्कूलचे फाउंडर मेंबर श्री नाना शंकर शेठ ह्यांच्यावर 31 जुलैच्या आधी किंवा त्या दिवशी तुमच्याकडनं काही कॅरेक्टर ॲनिमेशन बाहेर येईल का? म्हणजे यंग जनरेशनला कळेल की नाना शंकर शेठ हे कोण होते आणि त्यांनी मुंबईसाठी काय कॉन्ट्रीब्युशन केलं. कारण आज ह्या गोष्टीची खरंच खूप गरज आहे, अशी माझी तुम्हाला नम्र विनंती आहे.
Me, animation, I love local content. I love local content, and I would love to animate biographies and, all these other things. And I love the local content. You see, I have all local flavor in my work here. बिल्कुल तू मला स्क्रिप्ट पाठव, मी चालू करेन. आपण भेटूया नंतर. Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot, Weber, for this wonderful insights. VFX and animation have definitely become an integral part of the advertising industry. And especially in the last 2 years during the pandemic, everything was done on a virtual production space. And we absolutely loved listening to you and also the well-researched details and the nitty-gritties involved in this creative business. I would now like to call upon Mr. Shambhu Falke to join us on stage to present a token of appreciation to Mr. More.
Okay, let me get back to my resident city of Pune. खूप बरं वाटलं इकडे वैभवचं प्रगती गेल्या 5-6 वर्षात पाहतोय आणि त्या स्टुडिओचे काम पण खूप इव्हॉल्व झालेलं आहे आणि त्याला खूप एक पत आणि एक दर्जा आलेला आहे आणि ते पाहून बरं वाटलं. आणि जे काम तो करतो आहे ॲनिमेशनपासून ॲडव्हर्टायझिंग इतकं सोपं नाही आहे ते. मला एक त्याला त्यावेळेला प्रश्न विचारायचा होता की एखादा क्लायंटबरोबर काम करताना जे आपण कोटिंग करतो आणि ते कोट करताना आता तू थोड्या वेळापूर्वी सांगितलंस की ॲनिमेशनची ॲडव्हर्टाइजमेंट जे आहे हे रिडुईंगचं काम आहे. तर रिडुईंगमध्ये ऑब्व्हियसली तुला त्याची कल्पना नसणार आहे की आपण काय करणार आहोत आणि एक्झॅक्टली कामाचं स्कोप काय असणार आहे. तर मला नेहमीच कौतुक वाटतं एस्पेशली स्मॉलर स्टुडिओजमध्ये की इथे कोट करतो कोण, कोट केल्यानंतर ज्या वेळेला बदल होतात ते बदल क्लायंटबरोबर समजून घेतं कोण, चेंज होणाऱ्या पैशावरती बजेटवरती भांडतं कोण आणि परत स्टुडिओमध्ये आल्यानंतर आर्टिस्ट ज्यांनी काम करून झालेलं आहे त्यांना ते सगळं स्क्रॅप करायचं आहे, मग त्यांना समजावतं कोण. तर ही जी 3 वेगवेगळी माणसं आहेत, क्लायंटला कोट करणं, त्याला कन्व्हिन्स करणं, भांडणं आणि ऑफकोर्स अकाउंट्समधनं पैसे घेणं अँड आतमध्ये आर्टिस्टला समजावणं, ही कामं वैभव मला क्युरियोसिटी आहे की कोण कोण करतात तुझ्या स्टुडिओमध्ये, एस्पेशली आर्टिस्टना समजावणं.
So the question is, how do I handle the budgets? How do I handle the clients? At the same time, how do I wear my creative hat once we have the budgets locked on? It depends on client to client. We have fallen on our face many times where clients have not paid us. There are many times where the job is really exciting, but the budget is very bad. So it's our decision whether to take up the job or not. And जब काम देखते हैं तो बहुत satisfying लगता है. But when I see my work, I see mistakes and what I had to go through on each project, and I'm sure my team also now remembers what we went through when we did for Lego. For example, Lego, they were very adamant that they want to work in Maya. And I said, I will not work in Maya, I will work in Blender. I had to show them an output free of cost. And then they loved it. So every job is a struggle. But I think it is worth it when you watch it on the screen and when you hear a couple of people applauding. It's really worth a while. And handling the budget, sometimes we go wrong. We don't complain.
आणि प्रश्नाचे सवाल तुम्ही नाही करत ते ना, प्रश्नाचे सवाल तुम्ही द्या ना. कोण करत आहेत? त्यांचे नाव आहे वैभव मोरे ना.
मीच करतो.
हां,
मलाच बोलावं लागतं बिकॉज वी आर टीम ऑफ 3 people and freelancers.
फक्त वैभव मोरे करू शकत आहे.
No, so we do that, and now being so many years in the industry, we know whom to work with and whom to not. So there's a relationship and a bonding between the client and us, and we always prefer them as friends first. Most of our good clients, and we know we have got this third eye now to recognize कि ये भाई अच्छा नहीं है बंदा. Let's not take his work. So I depend on my experience and sometimes my instinct and my team's instinct. We always take a call in a team whether to take up this job. Is it exciting or not, or is it just for money? So that's our call that we always take collectively. And costing kabhi upar ho jata hai because I'm not a commerce graduate. I don't know how to do costing. So it goes on and off. But on and on average we're doing well. So.
Great. So all the youths over there, if you want to work with him, please do email him.